I just struggled in my marriage so much. Oh, let's have a fling. Let's go our separate ways. And holy crap, now she's pregnant. I was brought up in mysticism and it was amazing. Like I saw people heal cancer and yet I struggled with the humanity part. I never set out to be a coach. I never set out to do this kind of work. Like, Em, I'm going to be truthfully honest. Like in that moment when he came in, I'm like, I hate you.
You're going to make me cry this entire time.
I'm staying at the train station. I was just in so much heartbreak that I didn't know what to do with it. This voice said, just jump, Yummi, and it can be all over. This voice is loud. It's like, it can be all over. It can be all over. And I sat down and I start crying and I'm like, I don't have a healthy mind. That was that day that I broke up living from my mind. The only thing that any human being wants is, can you receive my love in its wholeness and not judge it? And that was when the voice came back in. That's all it is.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm done. I think so many people are going to hear that and go, holy shit, Yummi.
So to live from your heart takes so much courage. If I can heal my spinal cord, I will surrender to what I'm here to do. I don't know how to differentiate between reality and what's happening in here. And so I know that if you want to leave, that's okay. Because I know I've got to get help. This is how I got from rock bottom to where I am. And so what I'm going to invite people on is, I just remember...
Hey, this is Em Hollis, and welcome to the messy truth of transformation, where it's okay to be magical and messy. This isn't your typical personal growth podcast. Around here, we talk about the real stuff, the raw, the honest, the shadow work, the spirals, the breakthroughs, and the beautiful chaos of becoming who you were always meant to be. If you've ever felt alone on your healing and growth journey, or you wondered why it feels hard even when you're doing the work, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. Let's dive into the messy truth of what it actually takes to transform your life. In today's episode, I'm sitting down with Yummi, a transformational guide and spiritual architect who helps leaders, seekers, and parents move from knowing the work to living the work. Her signature teaching, Meet Fear with Love, reframes fear not as something to overcome, but as an initiation back to the heart. Today, Yummi works with leaders, entrepreneurs, and parents who have already done years of inner work, including advanced meditation students, and are still asking, why do I know so much, but still feel stuck in fear or unfulfilled in life? Through her mastermind, Higher Self Mastery, and Bespoke Mentorship, she helps her clients integrate their highest self into daily life, breaking generational patterns, and building the inner architecture to hold the weight of their own divinity. Her work bridges neuroscience and spirituality, lineage and leadership, coherence and humanity. She teaches that transformation is not about bypassing fear or chasing perfection, but about embodying the wholeness that has always lived in the heart. Let's dive in. Yummi.
Hello.
Hello, sister. So I just have to tell everyone, Yummi just took me through this super amazing grounding meditation before we started. And I'm like, I'm going to just do that before every single interview that I do. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
That was so amazing. Being into my body, which is, I know we're going to dive into that a lot in our time together today. So where I really wanted to start, first of all, I just was telling you off recording how excited I am that you're here. I love your work. I love everything you represent. And I think my audience is going to so resonate with where you come from, what you share yourself, because you're naturally a very authentic person. You naturally just exude that. And I was like, that's exactly what I want on here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, reaching out. And I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Yeah. So this is where I wanted to start, just so my audience and everybody that's listening can get just a small glimpse into the magic of Yummi. So as I was doing a little bit of research and Googling you, I came across one of your sites, and it was offering a free masterclass. And what I came upon was your testimonials from people that you've worked with. And so I really wanted to start here so people can get a frame of reference for just who you are as a soul, as a person, as a coach. And so here are some of the ones that I picked out. Yummi is amazing anyone would be lucky to be supported by her. It's profound what she is able to do in one call. The next one, I believe Yummi is an angel that God sent to me. My life has changed everywhere. There is no one like Yummi. I have healed. She has gifted my children and me a different future. And then the next one, such clarity and liberation to an aspect that I've been working on for years in one conversation. Yummi got me to the source of what was there and changed my whole reality. Such a profound experience. Lastly, if you're looking for a guide, for a catalyst for your own personal metamorphosis as you find your way back to wholeness and find ways to show up authentically and truly in your power, you are in the right place with Yummi. Yummi is loving, genuine, so deeply caring, so generous in her wisdom. Step into her world. It will be transformative and life-changing. That is just a few of the things that people have said about you, just so everybody can grasp. And I remember years ago talking with a mutual friend of ours through the Dr. Joe community, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this work with Yummi. And at that time, I thought you were really focused on conscious parenting. I was like, I love what she talks about with conscious parenting. And she was like, oh no, she's way more than that. Like there is so much more to working with her. So starting from there, obviously, I know that you don't get to making that kind of an impact on people without having your own super messy moments to get there. And so really, I would like to start from the beginning and talk about how your childhood shaped how you now lead your life as a coach, as a mom, and as a wife.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Em. It's really moving to hear that's who I am for people, because it was never who I thought I was. And it's interesting because you said in the beginning, naturally. And I'm like, no. It wasn't natural. It was learned. And I share that because I really struggled with vulnerability, and I struggled with knowing who I was and being comfortable in my own skin. And if we were to really start on how it all was I'm my father's a shaman and a Buddhist monk. He became a shaman when I was 13. However, I'm like the product of an affair. So I was like the unwanted child. And not only that, it wasn't like they loved each other and had the affair. It was like let's have a fling. Let's go our separate ways. And holy crap, now she's pregnant. I have to, it wasn't like I was born out of love. I was literally a mistake.
Wow.
Well, I am not a mistake. They
Sure.
and I had to unlearn all of that.
Yeah.
And it was just a really dysfunctional childhood, like a really, really dysfunctional, messy childhood. Yet I have so much compassion for my parents. They were young. They were, it was the war, the Vietnam War. They were leaving as refugees. They met at the refugee camp. That was where they had the fling. And my father was just so stuck with obligation and being a good person that everything felt so heavy. And he made this choice that he was never at peace with, and he led a double life. My mom didn't grow up with a father. My grandfather was adopted. He was a colonel in the Vietnam War. And during the war, he disappeared. And so she didn't have a father. So she felt like she hit the jackpot to like meet this man who doesn't love her. Right. And so growing up, I would hear things like I pieced my experience entering into this earth based on conversations. No one actually sat me down and said, oh, you were born out of wedlock. But what I heard was, we never wanted you. What I heard growing up was, I wish you would die. Like, I wish you were gone. Like, it was really hard growing up, knowing that my parents were in so much suffering, and I had to learn that I'm not the cause of their suffering, that I wasn't the unwanted child. They didn't want the circumstance, but it wasn't that I was unwanted, and being able to, there's consciously breaking up with that. And then there's actually embodying and knowing that to be true,
Totally.
you know?
Which is a journey. That's a journey.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And were you an only child?
No, my brother was wanted. He's the golden child.
Wow.
So it was really interesting. Like so growing up, my dad had affairs after my mom. And can I share this story with you? That was so, so I'm 4 years old and I'm in kindergarten and I can't speak English. Like I was born in Australia, but my parents were Vietnamese. So I didn't go to childcare. I didn't go to preschool, anything like that. I just went straight plonk into kindergarten and I couldn't speak English. And it was like the first week or two and it's time for pickup and no one's picking me up. Now I could hear English and I could understand it, but I couldn't speak it. And the clock was ticking and I'm like, okay, well, it's like 4:30 and I'm holding it all together. And I remember this viscerally as this 4.5-year-old trying to I've got this. It's okay. I'm not going to cry.
Wow.
At 4.5.
Wow.
And the teachers are like frantic and they're like, back then there was no mobile phones. You just can't get in contact with anyone. Finally, my dad comes and he's flushed and he's angry. And I'm so scared that he's going to blow up. And I sit in the car and I remember he was fuming and he's hot and he's tempered. And I wasn't sure what went on, but I knew something was wrong. So it wasn't until about 5 or 6 years after that I realized that was the day that he was going to leave my mum.
Gosh.
But he came back for me.
Oh, my Lord.
So he had fallen in love with another woman and they were on their way to leave the city. And he says, I've got to go pick up my daughter because she's coming with us.
Wow.
My children are coming with us. And the woman that he fell in love with said, no, you either choose me or your children. Wow. And I think they had a big fight in the car. And it's like, I can't leave my children. There's no way that I trust their mother to look after them. So he turned around and he picked me up. And I moved because that's how I know he loves me. I think he struggled with receiving love from himself, but that's how I know he loves me. And he had his own demons to fight with. And I was told that story by several of the other ladies that fell in love with him and going, it's your fault that your dad stayed with your mom. And so growing up, this is how I pieced my upbringing, how I pieced the stories together because we just didn't, we had skeletons in the closet, elephants in the room. And because my dad was such a revered leader and a shaman and a Buddhist monk, it was like, let's play happy families.
Wow.
Picture perfect,
Wow.
And, I was brought up in mysticism and it was amazing. Like I saw people heal cancer. I saw people, it was incredible rituals. And yet I struggled with the humanity part.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dad you're speaking of is not your biological dad.
He's my biological dad.
He is your biological dad.
He is my biological dad.
So the one that your mom had the affair with?
Well, no. So my father was married.
Oh.
Yeah. So he escaped Vietnam and he had a family in Vietnam.
Okay.
My mum had no idea when they met at the refugee camp.
Wow.
And so then my dad felt so conflicted because the family that he left in Vietnam was the one he really loved. Like it was his first love. And he left her because he thought that she had an affair.
Oh my Lord. It's like a soap opera, real life.
It is.
Wow.
It's like a Netflix show. Like it is like you can't make this stuff up. Like it is a Netflix show that is a real life drama. Wow. I mean, I'm laughing about it now, but I mean, it was heartbreaking for everyone involved.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Wow. So was your mom as involved in the mysticism and the shamanism was she involved just as much in all of that?
So it's really interesting. She was Catholic.
Oh.
She was raised extreme Catholic and he was raised extreme Buddhist.
Wow.
And so I was indoctrinated in both religions. Like,
wow.
So if you're talking about karma, like the dark side of karma,
Yeah.
the dark side of sin, and like
Yeah.
how I'm going to be reincarnated into like the worst thing ever because I'm so sinful, and like I'm going to be like sent to hell because, you know,
Right.
Oh, that was
Wow.
me and my upbringing.
Wow.
Like just the shame, the depth of like the conditioning,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it was such a gift. Like it was such a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Now I can
know
say it's such a gift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know because I follow your content a lot. I love your writing. I love that you're a long form writer because I am too. And I love that you just stick with that and do that because so many people have told me like, you're not supposed to long form write. I'm like, but I love it. Like I can't get it in 2 sentences. I can't do it. So I know you've talked a lot about the relationship now with your parents. Is there no relationship now? I know you've come to a lot of inner healing with that, obviously. Is that relationship still there?
No, my dad cut me out of his life. So, about 2020, I finally answered the calling of what I'm here to be and do and express. It was something that I didn't want to do. Like I never set out to be a coach. I never set out to do this kind of work. Like it was the furthest thing for me. I was always an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 22. I'm in my mid-40s now, and I've always started businesses. But I think I was always skirting around transformation. Like every business I had was all about human potential. Every business I had was about loving the humanity. And I didn't want to directly go there. But then when I had my children, it was like, okay, the knock is so loud. I'll answer the call. And the moment that I did that, and I believe, you know, there's different paradigms of consciousness, right? And so on the paradigm where there is no separation between my parents and I understood that, you know, like Alan Watts says, light is dark, dark is light, and all this whole.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, he's beautiful, right? His teaching. And then there's this current form of consciousness, which is 3D reality. I was able to bridge the two, and I really wanted to be able to share what I learned from my upbringing and how to reconcile it within yourself to understand that who you are as whole. These events around you are experiences and they are painful and they can hurt, but you're not stuck there because this too shall pass. And I started sharing my story because I think there's so much shame for a lot of people that they think that they're the only ones in the whole entire world out of 8 billion people that have the broken genetics.
Totally. Yes.
And I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And I understand that we heal through stories.
Hence this podcast.
Right? We heal through stories.
Yeah.
And then we don't feel alone. And
that's right.
So I started sharing my story more. But in doing so, it's, you know, for those of us who have a lot of generational trauma, what you're up against is like your parents are still alive. And so how do you start speaking your truth while your parents are still alive, owning your story, being able to reconcile it for yourself and move forward? And a lot of people don't do it while their parents are alive.
Yeah.
And they're waiting and they're in limbo. But as long as you do that, you're saying that my truth isn't ready yet, and you're going to feel internal conflict. And even as they pass, well, you know, like, that's not going to happen. The initiation, I believe, in truth is being able to be in the fire right now and share it. And so as I started sharing my story, you know, and it was never about to defame my parents. It was my own healing to be able to help others who have been in the same situation. You know, my father cut me off. He was like, you're either going to choose me or you choose that. And I was thinking, this is not just about me. It's about my boys. Because whatever I don't reconcile in me that I have to shut down and suppress, that's going to come out in my parenting.
Totally.
And I was not willing to do that. And I wanted to be a demonstration of truth for my children because I lived with what wasn't truth.
Yeah.
Yet the irony was I lived with so much spirituality, which is, like
Wild.
it's just wild.
It is very wild.
And so I believe that it is possible to bridge spirituality and humanity. And a lot of it is very humbling.
Mm, mm, mm,
And so I don't have a relationship with my dad at the moment.
mm.
We're estranged. And yet it was because of this that I've never felt more loved by him.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Can I say
Wow.
something about that for people who are like,
Please,
how can
please.
you? The deeper the hurt, the deeper the care.
Mm.
So I had to ask myself, like, who would someone be for themselves such that they are a father and the only way that they could deal with the circumstance was to cut their daughter off?
Mm.
And so who they are for themselves is someone that's deeply unworthy and deeply hurt. And so whilst he had like these incredible spiritual gifts, and this is why I understood integration so important, because you could have the most incredible spiritual gifts. You could access like, I don't know, 12 dimensions, whatever it is. And yet if you can't ground, you will implode your life here on earth.
Yeah.
I saw him channel. I saw him do magical things. I saw him chant. I saw him heal with hands. That was such
Wow.
a blessing to be around that from a very young age and
Wow.
communicate. And so I had all of that and I shut that down because I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what you can do all of this stuff and like
Yeah.
we're so dysfunctional. So I shut that part of me. But it wasn't until I learned how to really love my humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then because I loved my humanity, I was able to bridge the worlds. And if that resulted in this dimension, my dad cutting me off, it gave me such an access to tenderness and compassion and grace that could never have been done before.
Mm.
So, my dad's 9-year-old self has come into my meditation.
Wow.
And I had to face my resistance to that. Like I remember
Yeah.
there was this meditation that he came in. He's 9 years old and he's like, can you just love me? And I'm going to be truthfully honest, like in that moment when he came in, I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had to be with that disgust,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
be with these parts of my humanity and do my own healing such that when the 9-year-old self came back, like I could really embrace him. And I could see from a high level mind and a high level heart, all these different parts that there's a 3D, there's a 5D, there's the higher, and be able to bridge all of that and where your body, because your body's the capacity to be able to have a greater understanding, meet that there. So the estrangement has been profound because I think the greatest lesson for each and every human being is to belong to yourself first, to love yourself first. And when you have that, you're able to receive love from others and you're able to dismantle and untether when they can't give you love the way that you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. You're going to make me cry this entire time. So I definitely want to dive headfirst into your work. And I know you don't teach anything you don't do in your own life. So the way that you've been able to bridge your humanity and your spirituality in a way that I don't see many people out there doing right now. And I so resonate. I'm so there with you. Before we dive into that, in my research, I realized, so at 29, you were sort of living the normal life. You weren't living like a spiritual, like you were just kind of doing the normal thing and you sort of hit a breaking point, it sounds like.
Yeah. I completely shut down my spirituality. Like, I mean, I heard when I was younger at 8, I would talk to God. It was just normal to me to communicate to these things.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is just, I hated that I had that. I hated it so much. And so I shut that off and I started my first company at 22. I was very techie, very masculine. I could, I had no female friends. And like,
Me neither. Me neither. It was mostly guy friends. Yeah.
Right.
I get you.
I struggled with my feminine part.
Yeah.
I was like,
Me too.
being feminine's weak. Like, I was like, this is,
Yeah.
I want to be, like, I'm just born in the wrong body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I feel you.
And then, so I go through this life, I get the grad job, get the degree, make the money, travel the world on my own, and I got married. And I so struggled in my relationship. I'm like, I don't understand. I could have 90 projects that I could run and deliver and execute. You could put me in a boardroom. I can negotiate anything. I was a hard ass, right?
Wow.
And then you put me in a relationship and I'm like, oh, I freeze. I can't be. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know how to share my feelings. I did not cry.
Yeah.
All I knew was to provide for the man. Like, I literally was like, I'll pay for the wedding. I'll do this. I'll pay for you. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was so crazy. And then I'm going through like this self-development stuff and leadership, and I just struggled in my marriage so much.
And do you think that was you, like, not being able to really open up and be vulnerable? Do you feel like that was...
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
I had this idea that if I had cancer, I would never even tell my husband. I would actually just go buy a ticket, escape to another country to go deal with it myself. Like, I was so lonely inside.
Wow.
And I struggled with depression and anxiety. And what had me change was that I'm married to this man. It was so dysfunctional. It wasn't that we didn't love each other. We were just two dysfunctional beings. Do you know? Like, and I remember, so when I was 15, I started having, like, you know, it was 12 when the suicidal thoughts came. It was 15 and a half when I acted on it.
Are we the same person? What's happening? Same exact ages for me.
Right.
Holy shit. Wow.
And then at 29, those thoughts came back again. And so I'm married. No, I was younger than 29, actually. I was like 28. I'm married. I'm staying at the train station. And in Australia, like, they have these yellow markings, the yellow lines, and it says, stand behind the yellow line, stand behind the yellow line, the train's coming. And I was just in so much heartbreak that I didn't know what to do with it. And I was a leadership coach, and I was an entrepreneur. Like, it looked so good on paper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening inside? And
at that point, you had completely let go of, like, any spiritual stuff. So that wasn't really
like zero. Zero. It was like, screw you, spirituality.
Yeah.
And this voice said, just jump, Yummi, and it can be all over. And I remember, like, leaning forward, stepping over, and I can hear the train, and this voice is loud. It's like, it can be all over. It can be all over. And then there's two voices. And then the train comes, and it's like, and then I stepped into the train, and I sat down, and I start crying, and I'm like, I don't have a healthy mind. Because this was so familiar. It took me so much to get out of that depression, and I was high functioning. So it wasn't like I was a ball, not being able to wake up. I was high functioning. And I said, who am I for myself such that I have these thoughts? And who I was I felt broken. And I said, I have an unhealthy mind. And I was like, if I don't help heal myself, if I don't help get better, I don't know. It was almost like I'm a detriment to other people. I'm dangerous.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was when I ended my marriage, because I knew that I wouldn't have been able to heal in that marriage.
Yeah. And he was on the same page?
Totally. Like, it was actually a really beautiful divorce, because we sat down and we had a really great conversation. And I said, it's not that we're not getting divorced because it's a lack of love. It's that I just want you to have the best life, and I can see that you're not going to have the best life with me in it, because what you want is for me to be different, and I can't be different. he said the most beautiful thing. He said, I didn't realize that when I married you that I wanted you to change. I've always been this entrepreneur. I've always been
Yeah.
visionary. I've always
Yeah.
been really big on life. And he said to me, I actually never liked anything we did. I never liked the traveling.
Oh my gosh.
He goes, and I never liked the theater. I never liked the cultural things. I think I did it because I thought that's what we had to do. And then when we got married, I just really wanted a simple life. I wanted you to cook, clean, be home with the children, buy a house, and live the picket fence. And I was like, dude, I can't even cook rice. Like, I don't even know how to make rice. I don't even know how to fry an egg. What? So it was just so clear. Like, it was so clear and straight that we didn't know who we were.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got married because of culture, like your whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to have the most beautiful divorce. I want you to be happy. I want me to be happy. Let's set each other free. And that's what I truly learned, that if you love something, set it free.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was 29.
I mean, how many people are in marriages that I am certain could probably have that same conversation? And for you both to be aware enough to go, this isn't loving to either of us, and let's not make it like this terrible, horrible thing. Let's just be really honest. And obviously you guys had love for each other, so let's hold on to that and do the best thing for both of us and not have it be like a shameful, like keep holding on because that's what we do. That is such a beautiful story.
Thank you. Well, I had to save my life. Like it was literally a life-saving, like it wasn't, I knew I couldn't heal. I knew I couldn't get better being in that marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. So how much longer after that did you start to go, all right, I think I'm ready to dip my toe back into my spiritual side? Or
you would not believe this, Em.
I can't wait.
So we finally get separated. And then I hear this voice. And it said, welcome home. And it said, I think up until then, like my whole identity has been about giving, like being the one to give in relationships, being the one to be the hero, being the one to save. And this voice comes so strong and it says, the hero in the relationship is never the giver, it's the receiver. Now you're really understanding what it means to love. That the only thing that any human being wants is, can you receive my love in its wholeness and not judge it? And that was when the voice came back in. And I'm like, what is this? And then I started meditating and I'm like, I go straight into the void and I start hearing things. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm going crazy and I didn't know what to do with it. And I didn't tell anyone. But I think once you had it as a gift, it's always been there.
Yeah.
It's just, are you open to receive it? Are you open to letting it flow through you? And it flows through you once you come home.
Yeah. So what did that start to look like for you? Was that like, okay, now I'm going to start to practice every day. I'm going to meditate every day. I'm going to incorporate this. Like how did that unfold for you?
Yeah. So the moment that voice came, I remember walking to work on this particular day, that voice said, learn how to receive. And that's the healing. And like, I just remember I'm so done. Like that was that day that I broke up living from my mind. I said, I promise to live from my heart from here on in. And so I just asked myself, what would love do? What would love do? What would love say? What would be loving to me right now? What would be loving to this situation? And I'll take an action from that place. And so it was funny because I knew that the heart was the answer right at that moment. I hadn't gone back to meditating yet. And it was funny because I had a startup at the time and it was a design business. And I wanted to be able to know that I can choose my thoughts, right? Because they often say, can you choose your thoughts? And so I did this practice called 1,000 Days of Inspiration. Every day for 1,000 days, direct your thought to being inspired. And I'll document this.
Wow.
So by the end of that 1,000 days, I knew that I could choose my thought. I knew that I could
Wow.
direct my attention.
Wow.
But really the thing that honed in on that afterwards, was I heard this TED talk from Brené Brown,
Uh-huh.
and she talked about the power of vulnerability. And she says, the wholehearted know how to ask for help. And I started crying because I was like, I don't know what that is like
Wow.
to ask for help. And so after 1,000 days of inspiration, I did 1,000 days of daring greatly. Every day for 1,000 days, document whether I was in my heart or not and how. And that is how I knew to bridge everything. That project, 1,000 days of 1,000 days of daring greatly.
So you did 1,000 days and then 1,000 days.
Yes, I did.
You are a committed person. Wow.
Can I share something around that?
Please, please.
For those of us that have obsessive behaviors, I just directed that obsessive behavior to something healthy.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's all it is.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard it framed like that before. Thank you for
You're
making
welcome.
sense of my entire life. Okay.
Yeah, I knew I had an obsessive behavior. Everything is a double-edged sword, right? Everything has a yin and yang. Everything has a shadow, a gift, and a highest expression. And I knew my obsessive behavior where like I just focus on something so much. So I was like, well, look, the patterns don't go away. Right. Let me just direct that pattern to something healthier. And so that's why I knew.
I think so many people are going to hear that and go, holy shit, Yummi.
Because if you think about it like this, like so people would say to me 1,000 days is a lot. I'm like, but you've spent how many decades practicing fear?
True. 100% true.
Right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I knew that 30 days, I could easily do that.
Yeah.
100 days, easy. But 1,000 days would be at my edge. Yeah. And I wanted to know myself as someone that I could count on and that I could trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so 1,000 days was my edge.
Wow. Wow.
And ever since then, like I still do the same practice. Wow. And it is so profound because now I've rewired my brain to only look for that stuff.
Yeah.
Only to think those thoughts. Yeah. And now I'm not saying I don't have other thoughts, but I can catch it.
Yes.
And, but then knowing how it feels in my body as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So when did you finally make the transition from being an entrepreneur and many other businesses and then finally decide to go, okay, I'm going all in on coaching?
When I had my spinal cord injury. So in 2005, I had a really severe car accident. I fell asleep at the wheel. My car crashed into a telegraph pole. Telegraph pole snapped in half. Car blew up. Like my femur snapped in 4 or 5 places. The great thing was I was asleep and so my body was relaxed. The thing afterwards was when I woke up, my body was anticipating an accident all the time.
Wow.
And then in 2015, I was pregnant. And it was my second pregnancy. We had a miscarriage the first time. It was my second pregnancy. And then I got hit behind from a car. And then I lost the pregnancy. We lost the baby. And my spine, my body was now in overdrive. And my cervical spine, the disc was hitting onto the spinal cord. And it was sending signals down my arms and legs. Then what happened was I was pregnant again. And there was something about going, are you going to finally surrender? How bad do you need it to be to come back home to this stuff? So what happened was when I had my baby, Avery, my eldest, there was this book that came to me and it was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Yeah. Now, I didn't pick that book. Hay House was sending out these emails and I was like, pick your free book. And I looked at the 3 options and I was like, I don't want any of these books. I don't like the covers. And then literally, I don't know who these are. I don't like the covers. Yeah. And then it was final day just to pick your free book. And then my heart said, go pick that book and read it at night while you're breastfeeding. So, like I was going through Cairo and all of this stuff. I was reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself at Night. And then a year and a half later, I get this diagnosis to say if I don't get surgery, I'm going to be paralyzed and disabled. It was that severe. My chronic pain was so bad, but because my tolerance of pain was so high, I just thought that this was normal. And I had a son, and I was like, heart, what would you have me do? And the heart said, my heart said, remember that book you read.
Wow.
It was Dr. Joe Dispenza. So it was almost like this experience of, hang on, this is deja vu. I read this dude's book. He's healed his spinal cord. Here I am. So then I went to, so here is how it really started. I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's retreat to heal my spinal cord. The first thing I did when I stepped in is I was like, I don't belong here. This is a bunch of woo-woo people. This reminds me of my dad. Like, give me the, right?
Yeah.
Give me the science. And I was like, no. Your heart led you here. Let's trust it.
Wow.
And then in the first meditation, I get taken to a past life. And the next meditation, another mystical. And like the whole event was just these mystical experiences. And I'm like, what is going on? And then finally, I hear this part, like this voice that says, make a deal with me. And I said, if I can heal my spinal cord, I will surrender to what I'm here to do. I walked out. Chronic pain's gone. And so now I'm just keeping my word to what I'm here to do, which is share with people the mechanics of love. Share with people what it means to live from your heart, and like that this human experience is something so beautiful, and it can be devastating, but you're here. So that's how I got here. It was in 2018, and I made a deal with the divine within me. And to surrender your life over to your own higher power and to trust in that has been the most incredible blessing and bliss that I believe my children chose me, and I believe I chose my dad.
Amen, sister. Wow. I love how you said, because you always hear the phrase, I made a deal with the devil. Like that's like a common thing. But I love how you just said, I made a deal with the divine. Like, I'm like, yes. That is freaking amazing. So I want to start talking about your work, and I want to start talking about how it's so different than what you hear out there from most spiritual teachers, and especially coming from somebody with your background, with your dad being in that. I think why another reason why I resonate with you so much is because I grew up, my parents divorced when I was 2, but they were such extremes in their parenting that it's like my whole life I've been seeking for balance in some way, like internally, and almost like reaching to the extremes of anything I come into contact with as a way to somehow find that balance in the middle. And so I want to go into how you've been able to navigate this in your life. But before we do that, I want to read something. I want to read a post of yours that I found that I was like, I know everybody is going to hear this and go, yes. Although I know there may be people that will go, what? And from the comments. But I think it's such an important, this podcast is all about showing up real and authentic. And sometimes that means messy truths that people don't like to hear, but need to be said. And so I want to read this post because I think it will give such a great frame of reference to people for what you embody and what you teach from that place. So here is the post. You're delusional. This is for the parents who claim to be seeking higher consciousness, yet keep escaping into ceremonies, retreats, spiritual highs, searching for an answer to rid themselves of a discomfort inside. Unless you want to be a monk, unless you're choosing full renunciation of the human experience, stop. You cannot keep disappearing into ceremony while checking out of your responsibilities as a parent, a partner, telling yourself, I'm doing this so I can be better. That's not healing. That's not growth. That's escaping, and you know it. Your partner knows it, and no one is calling you out on it because they're afraid. Afraid of your defensiveness, afraid of your spiritual jargon, your justifications, your ability to gaslight them with phrases like, "You're just not evolved enough to understand," when really they see you running. You are repeating the same wounds you claim to be healing, calling it wisdom. You are seeking validation from a mystical experience, not realizing that the most mystical experience you will ever have is being fully human. Wisdom isn't an idea. It's not a vision. It's not a download. It's what's in your body, in your cells, in your essence. And if you want to know where you really are in your spiritual path, look at your relationships, your relationship with your child, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your life. These are true reflections of your wisdom. If your child resents you, if your family life is suffering, and your response is to retreat into yet another ceremony, you're missing the point. You don't need another plant medicine journey. You don't need another shaman to bless you. You don't need another high to touch the divine. What you need is to show up in your life. You're saying you're here to integrate higher consciousness, so why are you abandoning the very life you choose to incarnate into? If you keep seeking these highs while avoiding the 3D reality of your family, responsibilities, the actual work, you're no different from the person who numbs out with alcohol every single night. At least they're honest about what they're doing. The only thing that will heal your relationship with your child is taking ownership of your place in this reality. Stop handing your power over to yet another retreat, another teacher, another mystical experience, only to keep repeating your childhood patterns, just now with the shaman or the god as the one you seek approval from. This isn't just about plant medicine. It's the retreats, it's the courses, it's the endless seeking, it's a constant judgment of being human. Want to live as the divine? Then understand your humanity, all of it. The ugly, the shadows, the thoughts you hope no one ever hears, the demons, the aggression, the judgments, the resentment, the greed, the bitterness, the part of you that never wants to lose. How transactional are you? How much are you living from a win-lose, right, wrong paradigm? How deeply entitled you are. Let's be real. We all have it. Every single one of us. No exceptions. Can you hold that without running, without fixing, without justifying? Because until you can sit with that part of you that feels like a victim of this life without trying to escape it, you will never access true divinity. Divinity is not outside of you. It's not in the plant. It's not in the retreat. It's not in the high. Divinity is the profound knowing that no matter what, love heals. And love just doesn't heal the light. It heals the dark. It heals the parts of humanity we'd rather reject. It heals the failure, the inadequacy, the disconnect, the extreme loneliness, and the rejection that lives inside of you. No plant will fix that. No amount of embodied dance will do that. No breath work will be enough. No meditation will be the answer. No activation, magical scripting, or chanting will be it. These are mirrors, amplifiers, not shortcuts. You are it. When you, yes, you can meet yourself and others there, your spiritual seeking won't be from your wounds. I'm not saying mystical experiences aren't beautiful, profound, or deeply transformational. I have sat with ascended masters. I have received crystalline surgery from the gods of Egypt. I've been met by Thoth, right?
Yeah.
Thoth himself. I have on tap in meditations, ascended masters, gods, cosmic downloads, all of it. And yet, nothing is more profound than being a mother to my kids in this body. My mystical experiences are insane, very profound and entertaining. I feel supernatural, and it's very seductive to buy into the illusion that it's better to be there than here. But none of that matters more than this one truth. My presence in this physical form is fleeting. And as a parent, if you want to give your child the best of what life has to offer, stop escaping. Show them how to love being in a body. Show them that it's safe to be here, as in be in your body on this earth, on this planet, in this time, space, and dimension. Show them what reverence for life actually looks like. Show them what a gift it is to be in this body, to have the opportunity of this experience, to hold them, hug them, and be with them. Do you know what you would give to get back here when you transition? If you can't bring reverence here in this dimension, just know you're coming back, and not in the same body and not with your kids.
There are no assurances that you'll actually remember as much as you do next time. Your constant seeking of higher consciousness while judging those who are in lower consciousness is just a mirror of your wounds. Healing isn't about transcending humanity. Healing is about embracing it. And that is where you will finally find God inside of you. It hasn't been hiding. You've just been avoiding meeting yourself there. Because the game of let's make our humanity wrong is highly entertaining and dramatic and will keep you chasing yourself like a dog chasing its tail just to get a chemical hit called adrenaline and cortisol. And you call that being alive. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says. So start being grateful for this experience of being human. Escaping it isn't being grateful, it's taking it for granted. And I don't mean writing down 5 things you're grateful for. I mean actually feeling it in your heart. I mean knowing it by heart. I mean giving it presence and bringing your presence for you, for your life. And to do that, you can't defend and be so stubborn with the idea of how broken and wrong humanity is. It's not broken. It's sacred. So,
Damn it, you're going to keep making me cry through this. I'm supposed to be making you cry. The reason why that touches me so much is because I was that person early on in my journey, 8 years ago, going to retreat after retreat and having no idea until I stopped going to retreat after retreat that I was just chasing another way to escape my body, to escape discomfort in my body, to escape being human ultimately. And again, going to such a far extreme. And then, I always say, like, if that version or part of my life was my ascent, then the next couple years was going to be my descent. And it was years of doing the hardest work yet, which was discovering what it means to be human, and continues to be. So I would love for you to share about that post and talk about how this manifests in your life, like how you learn to navigate this and how you help others to walk this very wild ride called being human.
So those of us who have obsessive behaviors, right? Can I bring some science into this? Because then it might make sense to people.
Please.
So I often ask my clients on a scale of 1 to 10, how safe did you feel growing up? Because that's your baseline. And then I'll ask clients, would you ever forget how to ride a bike? And once you learn how to ride a bike, you never forget how to ride a bike. Now, you may not touch the bike for 10, 20 years, but the moment you get back on, there's something called a neural pathway. And what we understand about the mind and body is that it loves being efficient, which means it likes doing the same patterns. And so for really highly successful people, you're successful because of your obsession. And what happens is that you were able to achieve what you wanted to achieve through the obsession, thinking that that will get rid of this feeling. But the moment it doesn't get rid of the feeling, you're looking for the next thing to solve it. And so spirituality has just replaced your work, which has just replaced whatever discomfort or chaos that you grew up in. And if you grew up in a lot of chaos where you felt life was so unpredictable, you're going to be either addicted to adrenaline and cortisol through excitement or chaos. Why that is important is because, there's this book called The Science of Getting Rich, and it says you're here to live for the mind, you're here to live for the body, and you're here to live for spirit. When you don't have mind and body in preparation and you only have spirit, that's not a whole life. So what I often see is, and I mean, I grew up with this. I was a child of this. that the people that are really impacted when you go chase your high are your children.
Mm.
And I often hear people go, I went to do this or I went to do that and I got this download to do this. And I'm like, you haven't built the capacity to really interpret what that download is from truth. And then they'll go, but my past life is this. And I'm like, well, if you screwed up in your other past life, why would you bring that here? Like, haven't you learned? And then people will talk about twin flames. I'm like, that is so bullshit. Like, if that twin flame didn't work out there, like, why would you do it here? Like, it just, right? And so I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you have here.
Yeah.
And then they'll say things like, you know, my business, like, it just doesn't make sense to give your power away to something else and then avoid the responsibility here. And this person that really suffers is your children. Like, if you didn't have children, fair enough, you know, like you kind of have a bit more free reign. But the moment you have children, the moment you have a partner and you say, oh, my download said I got to leave you. Or like, I have this mystical experience and you know what, whatever we have here sucks and it's not as high as that.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, like, you got to like work it out.
Yeah.
And the moment you use this experience that you have that's mystical and you're like, well, wow, that felt way more high than what I have here. And so therefore this is wrong. You're just bleeding on the people that love you in the same way that someone bled on you. And so when it comes to really knowing thyself, if you've come from a chaotic background and you have addictive tendencies, like I have addictive tendencies, I've got to take care of that. It's not my children's responsibility or my husband's responsibility to carry that. And your neural pathways don't change, you build new ones. And so that is reverence for how the human being works. And so when people say shit like, sorry, I didn't just swear, your patterns go away. I'm like, really? If I tell you to go move to another country, never speak English again for 20 years, are you telling me that you're going to forget how to speak English?
Yeah.
No, you have a mind and body. We have a finite experience.
Yeah.
To be able to integrate the infinite into the finite and have reverence for all of it.
Yeah.
Reverence for all of it. That is key. So how can I see the divinity in you and how can I see the divinity in me and not make any of it wrong? Yes, there's discomfort. Yes, there's hurt. And yes, there's pain. And how do we solve it from a place of love? You know, and that means you got to move from here to here. To see beyond the ice, like the tip of the iceberg and go, what is really going on within you? And so the integration for me is huge because, you know, you could go to church every Sunday and pray. I was raised in a temple, so I saw everyone come and burn incense and do the full moon and the new moon. And like, you know, there was a ritual every second day. And yet their family life was falling apart. Their children would be like, my dad's a dickhead. My mum's not there. I hate my brothers and sisters. Oh, but we come to the temple and we're all perfect. I'm like, what is that?
It's like common sense says something's wrong with this picture.
That's right. You got to take care of your money. You got to take care of your health. You got to take care of your family. You got to take care of this experience because if you don't, who is?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was having a conversation with my friend the other day about this, and we were, and I don't know, this may upset some people when I share this, but we were having the conversation around why does it appear that people who will call themselves very spiritual, they go to the retreats, they do the things, and yet they find themselves broke all the time. And I was like, I think part of that is because they're hating their humanity. I mean, they're hating the very thing that, and if you hate it, how are you going to integrate into it? If you're rejecting it and avoiding it, then you are going to struggle in life. Then why are we here? Like there has to be a reason that we're here as humans, because certainly if we believe that something exists beyond this, we have an eternity to spend time there. And for me, learning the coming down, not just ascending, because, you know, the same thing was for me. It was like easy to go up into the ethers and go out of my body and have these crazy, mystical, that was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. The hard part was like, can I sit in this very uncomfortable emotion? Can I not judge myself constantly, day in and day out? Can I accept everything, as you said, every thought? Can I feel that in my body? And I am very vocal about this. My daughter has been my biggest teacher because she is somebody that has the full capacity of emotions. She came in with being able to feel all the emotions. And I was like, whoa, sister, that is, you know, we need to self-help your way out of this. And it really wasn't until probably when she was about 10. And actually, I've been following Dr. Shefali's work for a long time, read her books. I ended up doing a session with her. And it was like one thing she said that I was like, oh my gosh. I was sharing with her an example of this thing that my daughter would do when she would ask me for help with finding something, like something silly, you know, and I would be finding it, but then she would get frustrated and then I would get frustrated and it would turn into this like frustration and we're both mad. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle it. And she was like, she doesn't want you to find the answer. She just wants you to be with her in the messiness. Like she just wants to feel like it's okay in the messiness. And I was like, oh my God. And from that moment on, I stopped talking any jargon with her. And I just was, when she shared something, I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's hard. And only because I had to start doing that with myself. Like, yeah, it's okay. And that is why the work that you share, I think, is so freaking profound in a culture that can use spirituality as like an alcoholic that's drinking every night.
Yeah. You know, and I get it because I have those tendencies.
Me too.
Yeah. And so and I think for any of us that have gone through any kind of addiction, like mine was self-harm. Like you know, it's like pick your vice.
Yeah.
Mine was like, let
Totally.
me harm myself. And, you know, and I attempted it. It was so hard to stop in.
Wow.
It was so hard to stop. And it was so hard to stop going to that thing to like pattern interrupt the noise. And so I understand, like, you know, for anyone that's gone through sobriety or any kind of healing of addiction, that's why they count the days. That's why we've got to create a structure and a boundary.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like, you know, those that have addictive behaviors are really highly successful.
I know. I know.
Right?
Yes.
And we have to be able to go, okay, like this addictive behavior has helped me create this success, but I also need to see the darkness of that.
Yeah.
And how do I harmonize it and integrate it back in a way that doesn't harm me? And be able to be with it, be able to care for this part of me, be able to settle the monkey mind, settle the chaos. I know that there's nothing wrong.
Wow. I just did my last interview was with a friend and it was about addiction and he's counting his days. And, you know, I was an addict for 10 years. So I know that, you know, and being able to take that, like you said, that's the struggle with most successful entrepreneurs or people in leadership positions or making a big impact is like you have this drive and you also have these tendencies. And it's like channeling, like you said, channeling that into, and him and I talked about this in length. I told him I could see on his face, I could feel in him the softness and the gentleness that has overcome him. And he's, you know, that has been his journey the last couple of months, is both of us, just talking about, oh my God, just being in my body and feeling all the emotions and like being gentle with myself. It's like that. I told him, if you took all my tools away, that alone has been probably the most profound thing for me. And I know for him and his journey as well.
Yeah, totally. Like giving ourselves grace.
Yeah.
And being able to receive it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Because you won't be able to embody the divine, and you won't be able to receive the grace from the divine when you can't receive it for yourself.
So I know a lot of your work is getting people to live from their heart. And I always say, I feel like the heart is the bridge sort of between our humanity and our
Divinity.
What we really are, divinity. So I would love for you to talk about that journey that you now, I mean, you shared about you do every day, would love to do this, would love to do this. Is that would you say that's your main practice every day? And how do you guide your clients through that process to really start to feel safe in that space?
So if there was a framework that we could put it down to, I call it meet fear with love.
I love that.
Right, meet fear with love. I remember going through that journey for me, and when I had the divorce, it was like that download of receivership, and then I wrote out everything that every partner complained about me. Like every complaint they wrote, like they complained that I was too rainbows, they complained that I was this, they complained I was too much, they would complain. I wrote out every complaint that they had, and I wrote out everything that I hid, and I wrote out my jealousy, my neediness. I wrote everything out, and I said, I'm going to love every part and own every part. I'm going to own that I'm needy. I'm going to own that I get jealous. I'm going to own that my head is in the skies. I'm going to own and love all of this. Yeah. Because if I can love all of this, that's when someone chooses me and they give me love, I can receive it. But until I can love all these parts of me that I think are so broken and fractured, whatever love comes, I won't be able to receive that because I will doubt that. So I started owning the craziness that lived inside of me and loving it. Like I literally got that download after my separation, and I was like, and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I was like, stop pretending that you're not needy. Because the moment that neediness would come up in my body, I'm I'm breaking up with you because I don't want this.
Yes, exactly.
And so, God bless him, when my husband, my husband, who was my boyfriend then, I remember in the first 3 months of us getting together, I was so jealous of his ex-girlfriend. So jealous. I never wanted to share that with him. And so I was like, I think we should end it now. And he's like, why? And I was like, I just don't feel like it's going anywhere. I never wanted anyone to know I was jealous. You know, like,
oh, I know. Yep, I know.
And it was so hard. Like, he's like, I want you to talk to me. And he's like, I'm not letting you get out of this car until you talk to me about what's going on. And it was the first time that I was like, oh my God, I've got to talk about my feelings. This is crap. I hate talking about my feelings. And we sat and we talked. And I was like, wow, like that was hard, but this is okay. And then a year after getting together, we moved in together. And I started meditating again. And I remember this chemical reaction of like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. It was like crazy. Like this man, like, was so stable, was so safe, was so grounded, was so amazing. And my body rejected it because it didn't have that chaos. It didn't have that drama. And the fear was so loud, Em, and I'm like, what's going on? And I remember listening to Thich Nhat Hanh during that time, and he, my boyfriend, like now my husband, but he was at went to a box overseas. I looked through everything. I looked through his computer. I looked through I was like that obsessive, crazy person that didn't trust, wanting to find any kind of evidence that I could to go, see, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And once again, it was like that moment on the train. I paused. I'm like, who are you for yourself that you're doing this?
Wow. Wow.
And you need help.
Wow.
And Thich Nhat Hanh said, you've got to meet your suffering. So the boyfriend comes home, and I remember sitting on the couch and I was like, wow, I'm going to tell him something. He's going to leave me, and that's okay, because I'm not doing it for him. I'm doing this for me. And I said to him, I'm in a lot of pain and my head's not well. And I have these constant thoughts of jealousy. I have these constant thoughts that you're going to cheat on me. And you cheating on me is like so real in my body that I don't know how to differentiate between reality and what's happening in here. And so I know that if you want to leave, that's okay, because I know I've got to get help. And I just remember, and this is what I mean by your divinity, like, and your humanity, because no amount of plant medicine, no amount of mystical experience will ever equate to someone physically being in your presence and going, I love you, and I'm here, and I'm not going away, and I've got you. That is mystical. To be able to meet with that kind of love and that kind of reverence, no matter what. And so that's when I knew that the embodiment and knowing how to live from your heart is key. And knowing how to live from your truth. And when I did the 1,000 Days of Daring Greatly, I recognized that living from your heart is really deeply uncomfortable because you're in the unknown. And when you're in your heart, you don't have any preconceptions of what is right now. You don't have a story. You have a curiosity. You don't have the past that you put there. You have hey, this is a blank slate. I've never experienced this moment before. This has never happened before. Let me meet that with a beginner's mind. Let me meet that with being able to see it from love, see it for what it really is, as opposed to see it for what I think I am. And the practice of living from the heart, like, I say to all my clients, like, I've made a promise to my husband. I promise to never know you. Like, I promise to never know you. I don't know you. I've never met you. And it's the same thing that I do with my children. I've never met them. Like, who they are yesterday is not who they are today. And who I am yesterday is not who I am today. So to live from your heart takes so much courage, takes so much truth, and it requires action. Right? Action is what heals. And so it's about, what is my heart asking me to say? What is my heart asking me to do? What is my heart saying that this is not okay and I'm putting up with it? What is my heart asking me to go for? And every day you take an action from your heart. Every day you speak from your heart. Every day you look at the things that matter to you, your money, your relationships, your children, your health. What would heart have you do? And it's deeply uncomfortable because you'll do anything but what the heart says. You know the conversation to have. You know what needs to be done, but you don't do it because you're strategizing here like life is a zero-sum game. But that's from the mind, and the heart doesn't have life as a zero-sum game. The heart has life as a creative game.
There's a book that I just read, and it sounds, when I tell people read this book, they're like, what in the hell? But it is probably one of the best personal development books I've ever read. And it's called Trading in the Zone. And it's actually about trading. A guy had been, I think he started teaching classes in like the 70s. And so the book's, I don't think it's new. However, I was like, this guy has done some serious internal work on himself, because he talks about trading. All you have to do is replace trading with living life. And he talks about how to do that from a place that every single moment is literally a new, like,
yes,
he's talking about this with trading, but I replaced it with the quantum field, or replaced it with life, because it's like, literally, this moment has never happened before, ever. No matter how much you think you know about analytics, like, it doesn't matter. So he essentially teaches traders how to get in the flow, but he doesn't say that. He's not using those words. And the other part that he talks about, he's explaining, like, to a kindergartner how these beliefs get formed in our brain, the neural pathways. And he talks about the way he discusses them is he doesn't say neural pathway. He says the belief, I think is the word he uses, but that all you're doing is removing charged energy from it, but it's still always there.
Yes.
It's always there. So you're just going to replace that charged energy and put it into basically another neural pathway. And I mean, the book was like so profound for me because I'm like, he is literally just, I of course know all the lingo, but the way that he talks about it is like, yeah, every moment. And I remember hearing Zach Bush talk about the most dangerous relationship is the long-term one because you think you know that person.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. And like you said, the commitment to showing up in a relationship, your kids and your partner, which, I mean, you could argue that those are the two most intense, amazing, hard, looking in the mirror relationships that you can have. And through those two, for me, I mean, even in the beginning of being with Scott, I knew like I have to feel okay accepting all this. I've never had anybody that can give me this. So I have to learn how to actually receive it. I have to learn to be okay in my body to do that. And, even with my kids, it's like Dr. Joe says, you think or the most enlightening thing is being a parent, right? And
Totally.
so I want you to share with me, because I love your content. You talk about it a lot with your kids. You share like the exact situations that happen. So how do you live from your heart and stay in that place with your kids, because that could arguably be the most triggering relationship ever?
It's so amazing. I literally fall in love with them every time I see them. And I think the world heals when every parent can look at their child in that way. That you are such a gift to this life, that you are such a gift to this world, that you matter so much and you make such a difference in my life. The way to do that is to make that a priority. And then to schedule your life and create a life that can have that presence be available. So what is really important and how to do that is, one, you got to start going, what are the three most important things in your life? What are the three most highest priorities? For me, one of them is parenting. And then the other two is my relationship with self and my spirituality, and then my husband. As long as my day, as long as my week, that is showing up as a priority in my calendar, everything else is to serve that.
Wow.
So my business serves my life.
Wow.
And that then creates this space of this presence, because what I fundamentally know is that my children never asked to be born. Like, parenting is the most selfish act, because we're like, we want to be a parent.
Yes.
Right?
They're going to be my child.
That's right. And so when I understood, based on what I grew up with, I never asked to be born. You did the deed. And you couldn't deal with whatever hurt, pain, trials, tribulations. I get it, and I have compassion for it. But now, knowing what I know, parenting is such a slap in your face of your entitlement. I say that with compassion. Entitlement is the same energy of victimhood. And so when we feel triggered in parenting, we feel like, oh, I'm a victim to this experience, but you asked for this experience. So take responsibility for the experience that you caught in. That's not for everyone. And I'm not judging anyone that isn't there. But how I hold parenting is that I'm not raising two kids that are mine. they're not mine. Like Khalil Gibran says, your children are not yours, they come through you. I feel such a gratitude that my children chose me to guide them and be their guardian, to be a gift to this world. And I think of the world leaders, and I think of my part in this world. And I feel that I have a contribution to what I can leave the world with. And that is, if I can leave the world with a legacy of love through how I live my children, they can then pass that on. And then we create a different world. If I really, really care about humanity, I will care about my parenting. And I will make that a priority. Because no matter what I do out there, charity, and I used to love doing charity work because I was so addicted to being the savior and the hero and all of that.
The savior complex.
The savior complex.
Yeah.
But my children don't feel loved and appreciated. I'm just adding to the hurt and the pain in the world. So that's how I see parenting. I see it as completely different. Like have you heard of that cathedral story, Em?
I'm not
cathedral
sure.
story. So there's a traveler that goes to this set town in Italy, and he passes these stonemasons. He walks past the first stonemason and he says, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh," the stonemason's grumpy and he's like, "I'm just moving stones. What do you think I'm doing?" Right? And he's like, "Okay." Walks to the next stonemason. He's doing exactly the same thing. And the second stonemason says, "Yeah, this is my job. I got to put food on my family." Then he sees a third stonemason. He goes, what are you doing? Exactly the same action. All of these stonemasons moving stones. And the third one says, "Do you see this? I'm building a cathedral. I'm contributing to a legacy. This is going to be the house of God. This is a cathedral that people get to pray and come to pray and learn how to love. That's what I'm doing." So when I think of parenting, I'm building a cathedral.
I've never heard that story.
It's pretty cool, right? And so when you think of life that way, that you get to build your life as a cathedral, where your business is part of the cathedral, where your relationship is part of the cathedral, where your parenting is part of the cathedral, ultimately what then happens is that you know that you matter, you know that you're in service to something, you know that you're belonging, you know that you're connected to life. And so with my children, I don't know what it is, maybe because I had the 2 miscarriages, maybe because I went through what I did, but I literally fall in love with them. Every moment I look at them, I look in their eyes and I'm like, oh my God, these kids chose me. These kids chose me. For someone that has had a story of being unwanted, I'm so wanted by them. And they're healing me, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I say that about my kids all the time. Like, you're teaching me.
Yeah.
I'm learning from you. And I
Yeah.
think that's, like, I know the work that you do with people is really reparenting themselves so that they can show up for their kids in that way.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And learning to turn that love around. And it is the most profound thing we can all do. So to bring this to a wrap, I would love for you to share your most important mission, your most important message, because you have so many important messages to share with people. Like I said, I think the stuff that you're doing is you don't see it out there. And it's it's like when I read your content, it's like this depth, right? It's not like, here, this looks really nice and this is really great. It's like, no, my kids had an argument yesterday, or I showed up this way and this is what I had to do in that moment. And so your depth, like, you can tell you've had those messy moments, you've had to face messy truths, and you like go deeper into that as opposed to running from it. And I know it's not an easy journey. I feel you. Many of the stories I'm like, we're the same person. So I know the journey, and I honor it. And I honor you so much. So Your work is amazing. But yeah, anything that you would like to share with the audience, maybe somebody is sort of chasing that spiritual high right now because they don't know how to do anything else. What would you like to share?
I think we're constantly looking for our purpose or our place of belonging in the world. Like, who am I? Am I doing the right thing? What's my purpose? Do I matter? And I just want to invite people on this idea there is no higher purpose than being in love with you.
Mm.
That being in love with your life. And I'm not talking about, oh, I just got to have happiness all the time. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about actually when you love something, being in love with your life, can you nurture your life? Can you nourish your life? Can you know what it is to love you? When we talk about follow your bliss, I'm not talking about following the feel-good chemicals. Can you follow your bliss in knowing that you are loved? Can you wake up each day and go, I am loved? Can you go to sleep each night going, I am the fullest expression of love, and keeping my heart open no matter what is the highest purpose? And what you have been seeking is you. Really, when Rumi says your task isn't to seek for love, it is to seek all the barriers that you have created between yourself and love. You recognize that you are love. And that whilst that sounds simplistic, that requires you getting out of your head and into your heart. And you just need to do one choice per day. You don't need to do an overhaul of your life tomorrow. This is how I got from rock bottom to where I am. I was like, I just need to love myself more today than I did yesterday. What is one thing I can do today that can strengthen my trust in myself? What is one thing I can do today that can strengthen my safety in myself? And that's all that's needed. One thing every day as an expression of love. And you're not broken. I think, for some people, they're like, no, they're so stubborn that they have the deficiency. They're the one person out of 8 billion people that has a deficiency of being whole. And so what I'm going to invite people on is you're whole. You're whole with your messiness. You're whole without it. You're whole with your pain. You're whole without it. You're whole. Like, you are whole. And the moment that you can accept that, like really accept it as an act of love, as an act of contribution to this world, that you are whole, you stop taking actions of fixing yourself. And then now you're in service to love. You're in service as love, to love, with love, from love.
So good. So good. So good. I mean, people are going to get so much from this. So much. And like you said, just one thing. If you do that, that's enough.
Yes.
That's enough.
Yes. What's one thing you can do today that's loving to you?
Yeah.
Like, cut yourself some slack. Can you be kind to yourself today? Stop talking to yourself like that. Stop beating yourself up. There is no behind. Forgive yourself. Give yourself grace. You're doing the best that you can. If you knew better, you would do better,
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to spend this time with you. And I know everyone will be watching this. You've had me in tears many times. I'm going to do your meditation now before every podcast. Would you like to share for people that feel called? Because I know for sure there's going to be people that feel called to your energy. How do they find you, connect with you, work with you?
They can connect with me on Facebook. I just have a personal Facebook page. If you look up Yummi Nguyen, Yummi, Nguyen, Nguyen, connect with me that way. My new website's soon to be ready. That's going to be yummingnguyen.com. There's an old website right now, but they can reach out that way. Yeah. But the new website will be there soon.
Awesome. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, go to her Facebook page and be her friend and read her posts because they're beautiful. You need to write a book.
I'm writing a book at the moment.
Okay, good.
So it should be out by the end of this year.
Oh, amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us and you with us. And I've loved our time together. And yeah, if anyone feels called, I'll put all your info in the notes in the description.
And thank you so much for creating this. And thank you for being on the same mission, the same passion. I love your heart. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. And I really hope that whoever heard this, it's a balm to their heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be for sure. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode. If this episode resonated in any way, I would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with somebody who's in the thick of it too. If you want more behind the scenes, or you want tools to support you along your journey of messiness, come hang out with me over on Instagram at @mhollis_thesage. But most importantly, just remember, the mess is part of the magic.